Humanity's greatest strength has never been our technology, she said softly. It's our adaptability, our creativity, our capacity to learn from mistakes and begin again. The simple technologies you see on Earth aren't just a disguise for the benefit of other species. They're a reminder to ourselves. A reminder of what? Thelax asked. That progress isn't just about what we can build, but about why we build it. That there is beauty and value in simplicity. That sometimes the greatest wisdom is knowing when not to use the power you possess. She turned to face him directly. The humans living in those cities with their seemingly primitive technologies aren't acting a part. Most of them genuinely choose to live that way, using only the level of technology appropriate for their needs and understanding. The knowledge and capabilities you've witnessed today are available to any human who proves ready for the responsibility they entail, but many never seek them out, content with simpler lives. And those who do seek advancement, Thelax asked, join our efforts throughout the stars. Commander Ortega explained, rejoining them, observing, protecting, preparing for threats like the one we now face. It is not how the Concordat would have arranged things, Thelax admitted, but I begin to see the wisdom in it. Different paths, different solutions, Dr. Reed said. That's precisely why we need the Concordat and other civilizations as partners, not subjects. Your perspective may see solutions where we see only problems. Director Chen nodded toward the transport platform. Shall we return to address the current crisis? I believe we have much work to do together. As they prepared to transport back to Earth, Thelax gazed once more at the planet that had seemed so primitive just hours before. He wondered how many other secrets it held, how many wonders and dangers humanity had encountered in their millions of years among the stars. And for the first time in his long diplomatic career, he felt truly humbled, not by displays of power or technological marvels, but by the wisdom of a species that had learned when to step back, when to let others lead, and when to reveal just enough of the truth to ensure survival. Whatever came next, whether the Concordat embraced humanity as ancient teachers or rejected them as manipulative overseers, the galaxy would never be the same. The revelation that humans were not newcomers to the cosmic stage, but its original players had forever altered the story of civilization itself. As the quantum transport activated, Thelax found himself hoping that there would be time enough to write the next chapter together. The revelation that humanity has been overseeing galactic development will not be well received by many in the Concordat. Some will view it as patronizing at best, malevolent manipulation at worst. We understand, Director Chen acknowledged. We don't expect gratitude or even immediate acceptance. What we hope for is rational self-interest. The void play threatens all life, regardless of origin or advancement. Working together isn't just the ethical choice, it's the only choice that offers a chance of survival. We're prepared to share defensive technologies immediately, Commander Ortega said, and to coordinate evacuation efforts for the systems most immediately threatened. But we need the Concordat's help in spreading this knowledge and these preparations throughout the galaxy, Dr. Reed added. There are regions where humanity has minimal presence and civilizations that would not trust information coming directly from us. Thelax glanced at his fellow delegates. Venki's scientific curiosity was clearly piqued by all she had learned. Zort appeared conflicted, his military mind simultaneously impressed by humanity's capabilities and concerned by their implications. The others showed similar mixtures of awe, fear, and uncertainty. I cannot speak for the entire Concordat without consulting our governing council, Thelax said finally. But I believe I can secure agreement for immediate defensive preparations and knowledge sharing regarding this void plague. That's all we ask for now, Director Chen said with evident relief. The full implications of humanity's history and role in the galaxy can be processed later, when the immediate threat is contained. A subtle alert sounded, and Commander Ortega consulted his interface. The quarantine protocols on the Scrivian vessels are holding, but we're detecting new plague manifestations in the Orion Spur. We should return to the command center. Before we go, Thelax said, a final question burning in his mind. There's something I still don't understand. If humanity possessed the power to create or destroy stars millions of years ago, why maintain the appearance of using fossil fuels and primitive electronics on your homeworld? Surely such a masquerade requires enormous effort. Director Chen smiled, a genuine expression of warmth rather than the diplomatic mask she had worn earlier. Walk with me, Ambassador. She led him to a viewport overlooking Earth. From the lunar surface, the planet appeared peaceful, its blue oceans and swirling white clouds betraying nothing of the technological wonders hidden beneath its surface. The Sapiens Concord developed what we call the complexity diffusion theory, Dr. Reed explained. If a single, highly advanced civilization would inevitably attract the void plague, perhaps multiple less advanced civilizations spread throughout the galaxy would be safer. The combined intelligence and creativity of many species, each developing along their own path, might find solutions that we alone could not. So humanity deliberately stepped back, Commander Ortega said. We maintained our knowledge but reduced our technological footprint. We established observation posts throughout the galaxy, watching for signs of both emerging intelligence and returning darkness. We became gardeners rather than conquerors, Director Chen added, nurturing new civilizations, subtly guiding them away from the same mistakes we had made, protecting them from extinction-level events until they were ready to join the galactic community. And the Concordat? Thelax asked, his mental voice echoing through the repository. Was it your creation as well? The concept was entirely yours, Director Chen assured him. We simply ensured that the right species encountered each other at the right time, and that your early conflicts didn't escalate beyond recovery. The peaceful unification of 63 distinct species is an achievement you should be proud of. The repository began to show more recent events, the first detection of the Void Plague's return, the careful monitoring of its progress, and the deliberations among human leadership about when and how to reveal their true nature to the galaxy. We had hoped for more time, Commander Ortega admitted. Ideally, the Concordat would have expanded to include at least another 100 species before we revealed ourselves. The combined scientific and cultural knowledge would have been a stronger bulwark against the plague. But we no longer have that luxury, Dr. Reed said. The plague is advancing faster than our models predicted. If it's not contained soon, it will spread throughout the populated regions of the galaxy within a standard cycle. The repository displayed the current situation, points of darkness spreading through the galactic map, consuming ships, stations, and occasionally entire worlds. We need unified action on a galactic scale, Director Chen explained. Every spacefaring civilization must implement specific technological modifications to their ships, stations, and planetary shields. Energy usage must be carefully managed to avoid drawing the plague's attention, and in some cases, evacuation of threatened regions will be necessary. None of which would be possible, Thelax realized, without revealing at least some of humanity's true capabilities and history. Exactly, Commander Ortega confirmed. Though what you've seen here is still only a fraction of the truth, some aspects of our history and technology remain sealed, as they would do more harm than good if released. The repository began to dim, the streams of information receding as the experience drew to a close. The delegates found themselves once again standing in the physical chamber, though the knowledge they had gained remained vivid in their minds. So what happens now? Zort asked, his earlier hostility replaced by a wary respect. Does humanity intend to take control of the Concordat to fight this threat? No, Director Chen said firmly. That would defeat the entire purpose of what we've been working toward. We don't want to rule or control. We've learned through bitter experience that centralized power, no matter how well-intentioned, eventually leads to disaster. What we want, Dr. Reed explained, is partnership. Humanity has knowledge and certain technologies that will be essential in the fight against the Void Plague. But the Concordat and other civilizations have perspectives, innovations, and adaptive capabilities that we may lack. Different species perceive reality in different ways, Commander Ortega added. The Mrliki, for instance, can intuitively understand quantum relationships the human scientists need complex instruments to detect. The Vosh can communicate with certain energy patterns that humans can barely perceive. Diversity is our greatest weapon against the plague, Director Chen concluded. Not just diversity of species, but diversity of thought, of approach, of understanding. No single civilization, no matter how advanced, can defeat this enemy alone. A holographic display appeared, showing a Scrivian vessel, not one that had been consumed by the plague, but one that had been quarantined by human defenses. Even those you consider enemies have roles to play, Dr. Reed said. The Scrivian's adaptive shielding technology, developed for raiding, can be modified to resist the plague's initial contact phase. Thilax considered all he had learned, his diplomatic mind already calculating the ramifications. The Scrivians accidentally encountered it during one of their raids, Director Chen explained. They had no idea what they were carrying back to populated space. Why tell us this now? Thilax asked. Why reveal yourselves after millions of years of secrecy? Because fighting the Void Plague requires coordination on a galactic scale, Commander Ortega said. All spacefaring civilizations must reduce their energy signatures, modify their shields to specific frequencies, and prepare for localized space-time manipulation to contain outbreaks. And none of that would be possible without revealing at least some of humanity's true capabilities, Dr. Reed added. Director Chen's expression was solemn. Ambassador Thilax, what you've seen today is still only a fraction of the truth. The Luna archives contain only our lunar history. Similar facilities exist throughout our solar system and beyond, each preserving different aspects of our past and the technologies we've developed. Like what you're about to show us now? Venki asked, noticing that they had arrived at a massive door emblazoned with ancient symbols. Exactly, Director Chen confirmed. Beyond this point lies the true history of the galaxy, and the reason why humanity has hidden for so long. The massive doors slid open silently, revealing a chamber that seemed to exist partially outside normal spacetime. Inside, crystalline structures house what appeared to be pure information, flowing and shifting in patterns too complex to follow. The Akashic Repository, Dr. Reed explained, a complete record of human history and knowledge, stored in quantum-entangled crystals that exist partially in our dimension and partially in others. As they entered, the information flowed around them, responding to their presence. Images formed in the air, planets, species, technologies, and events spanning millions of years. Here, Director Chen said, you will learn the complete truth about humanity's role in the galaxy and why we must all stand together against the darkness that now approaches. Li GACY of DHEPRAQRs. The Akashic Repository surrounded the Concordat delegation with streams of living information, forming images and concepts directly in their minds rather than relying on visual displays. Thilax and his companions found themselves experiencing millions of years of human history as though they had lived it themselves. They'd witnessed humanity's first tentative steps into space, followed by a rapid expansion across the stars. They felt the hubris of those ancient humans who reshaped worlds to their liking and experimented with technologies that bent the fundamental laws of physics. They experienced the horror of the first collapse, when artificial intelligences turned against their creators and weapons of unimaginable power tore holes in the fabric of reality. They watched as the survivors rebuilt, more cautious but still driven to explore and expand. They saw the cycle repeat: advancement, expansion, catastrophe, each time with different causes but similar results. It was after the fourth collapse that humanity truly changed. Director Chen's voice explained as the experiences continued to flow. We had reached a level of technology that allowed us to manipulate matter, energy, space, and time at will. We could create or destroy stars, engineer species, and traverse galaxies in moments. We had become, for all practical purposes, gods. The repository showed them images of human civilization at its height, artificial worlds larger than solar systems, structures that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, beings of pure energy who had once been human but had transcended physical form. And then we encountered the Void Plague for the first time. Commander Ortega's voice continued. It consumed entire systems before we even understood what it was. Our weapons were useless against it, worse than useless, as they only fed its hunger. Billions died in the first wave alone. The delegates experienced the desperation of that ancient war. Humans sacrificing technologies, worlds, and even aspects of their own advancement in a desperate bid to survive. It was then that we made a discovery that changed our understanding of the cosmos. Dr. Reed's voice explained. The Void Plague was attracted to complexity, to the energy signatures of advanced technology, and the ordered patterns of intelligent thought. The more advanced a civilization, the more powerfully it drew the plague. The repository showed the solution the ancients had developed, a deliberate reduction in technological complexity, a return to simpler ways of living, while preserving knowledge in shielded repositories like the one they now stood in. But we knew this was only a temporary measure. Director Chen continued. The plague would return eventually. We needed a more permanent solution. The images shifted to show human scientists working with strange technologies that seemed to defy comprehension. But why? Thelax asked. Why create new civilizations only to hide from them? Director Chen gestured, and a holographic display shifted to show a timeline of human history, a staggering chronicle spanning millions of years. Humanity wasn't always as we are now, she said solemnly. Like many young species, our first steps into the galaxy were driven by curiosity, exploration, and yes, conquest. We expanded rapidly, built wonders and weapons of unimaginable power, reshaped worlds to our liking, and for a time, believed ourselves to be gods. The display showed images of ancient human civilizations spanning thousands of worlds, technologies that defied comprehension, and structures that dwarfed anything the Concordat had ever built. Then came the first collapse. Commander Ortega continued, his voice grim. Our technology had outpaced our wisdom. We created weapons that could extinguish stars, artificial intelligences that viewed organic life as inefficient, and power sources that distorted the fabric of reality itself. The holographic display shifted to show worlds burning, stars imploding, and vast regions of space twisting in ways that hurt to look at. We nearly destroy ourselves and much of the galaxy with us, Dr. Reed said. The survivors, scattered across distant colonies, had to begin again, many with only fragments of our previous knowledge. This cycle repeated several times. Director Chen added, advancement, expansion, hubris, collapse. Each time, the survivors learned a little more about the dangers of unchecked technological progress without corresponding ethical development. Until approximately 500,000 years ago, Commander Ortega said, when the Sapiens Concord was established, a unified human government dedicated to the principle that technological advancement must always be tempered by wisdom and restraint. The display shifted again to show Earth as it appeared now, a planet of cities, forests, and oceans that seemed unremarkable compared to the wonders they had just witnessed. We made a decision, Director Chen explained. Humanity would step back from its role as the dominant force in the galaxy. We would dismantle our most destructive technologies, conceal our true capabilities, and allow new species to develop naturally, without the shadow of an ancient, all-powerful civilization looming over them. But why maintain the deception once we achieved spaceflight? Thelax asked. Why not reveal yourselves then? Dr. Reed smiled sadly. Because history has shown us that knowledge given is not the same as knowledge earned. Species that discover the truth about humanity too early often become dependent on us, viewing us as either gods to be worshipped or tyrants to be overthrown. Neither perspective leads to healthy development. So you've been watching us, guiding us from the shadows. Venki asked, Her scientific curiosity piqued despite the shock of these revelations. To some extent, Commander Ortega acknowledged, we maintain observers on all developed worlds, intervening only when necessary to prevent extinction-level events or destructive wars that would spread beyond a single system. The Concordat itself was influenced by humanity. Thelax asked, struggling with the implications. The concept was yours, Director Chen assured him. We simply made sure that the right individuals from the right species met at the right time. The rest was your achievement. A sudden alert echoed through the chamber. Commander Ortega consulted a holographic display that appeared before him. The Void Plague is spreading faster than anticipated, he reported. 3 more Scrivian vessels have been consumed. We need to move to containment phase. What is this Void Plague? Zort demanded. Is it a human weapon? Not of our making, Dr. Reed said grimly. It's something far older and more dangerous. The reason we've decided to accelerate humanity's revelation to the galaxy. Director Chen nodded to Commander Ortega, who activated a new display. It showed what appeared to be a sentient darkness moving through space, consuming matter and energy wherever it touched. The Void Plague is a self-replicating quantum anomaly that feeds on organized matter, she explained. It's particularly attracted to advanced technology and the energy signatures of intelligent life. We first encountered it 2 million years ago, during our initial expansion period. It nearly destroyed us, Commander Ortega added. Our weapons had no effect. In fact, it consumed their energy and grew stronger. Only by reducing our technological footprint and developing specific countermeasures were we able to drive it back to the intergalactic void. We've been monitoring for its return ever since, Dr. Reed said. 3 cycles ago, our deep space sensors detected its energy signature at the edge of the galaxy. It's been moving inward, consuming isolated outposts and chips. Because we removed it, Commander Ortega said simply. Or rather, our ancestors did. New displays activated, showing archaeological sites across dozens of worlds. In each one, human scientists were uncovering artifacts, some resembling Earth technology, others wholly alien. At this very moment, Dr. Reed explained, we are allowing our outposts across the galaxy to discover evidence of ancient human presence. The truth is about to cascade across known space, whether we reveal it here or not. Thelax sank back into his chair, struggling to process what he was hearing. If what you say is true, why would an ancient, advanced civilization like yours hide its true nature? Why pretend to be primitive? Director Chen's expression turned solemn. That, Ambassador, is a long and painful story. One that begins with humanity reaching the stars when your ancestors were still evolving on their homeworlds, and ends with a warning about what awaits us all if we don't unite against a threat far greater than these Scrivian raiders. On the main display, one of the Scrivian ships began to glow with an eerie light that seemed to consume it from within. And it appears, Commander Ortega said grimly, that the threat has found us sooner than we expected. The ancient Archaeades. The Scrivian ship imploded in a silent flash of darkness rather than light, leaving nothing behind but scattered particles. What just happened? Zort demanded, hand instinctively moving to the weapon at his side. They've been infected, Commander Ortega replied, his fingers dancing across his control interface. The Void Plague has reached this sector earlier than our models predicted. Director Chen turned to face the confused alien delegation. We need to accelerate our timeline. Dr. Reed, prepare transport to the Luna Archives. The what? Thelax asked, his diplomatic composure crumbling in the face of rapidly unfolding events that defied his understanding of the galaxy. All will be explained, Ambassador, Director Chen assured him. But we must move quickly. The Scrivians were carrying something far more dangerous than weapons. A circular platform in the center of the command center began to glow with soft blue light. Dr. Reed gestured for everyone to step onto it. This is a quantum displacement transporter, he explained. It will move us instantly to our lunar facility. That's impossible, Venki objected. Instant matter transportation violates the physics you currently understand. Dr. Reed finished with a gentle smile. Please, time is of the essence. Reluctantly, the Concordat delegation joined the humans on the platform. There was a momentary sensation of existing everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Then they found themselves standing in a vast chamber carved directly into the lunar bedrock. Through transparent ceiling panels, they could see Earth hanging in the blackness above them, beautiful and seemingly peaceful. The chamber itself stretched for kilometers in all directions, filled with technology that ranged from the recognizably advanced to the completely incomprehensible. Welcome to the Luna Archives, Director Chen announced. One of humanity's oldest continuous settlements, established approximately 1.8 million years ago. Thelax stared at the enormous facility in disbelief. Your historical records claim your species first reached your moon less than a century ago. Our public historical records, yes, Commander Ortega corrected. What humanity presents to the galaxy and what actually exists are very different things. Dr. Reed led them deeper into the facility, past chambers containing preserved spacecraft, spanning millions of years of development, from what appeared to be primitive chemical rockets to vessels that seemed to bend reality around them. Humanity achieved faster-than-light travel approximately 1.75 million years ago, he explained. We established colonies throughout this galaxy within the first 50,000 years and made contact with neighboring galaxies within the first 100,000. If that's true, Venki asked, her scientific mind struggling to reconcile this with known galactic history. Where is the evidence? Where are these ancient colonies? They entered a new chamber dominated by a massive holographic display of the Milky Way galaxy. Throughout the spiral arms, countless points of light pulsed in different colors. These are the worlds where humanity either evolved other sentient species or guided their natural evolution. Director Chen explained, including all 63 members of your Concordat. A stunned silence fell over the alien delegation. You're claiming that humans created our species? Zort asked, his voice a mixture of disbelief and outrage. Not exactly, Dr. Reed clarified. Most sentient species evolve naturally given the right conditions. In some cases, we nudge that evolution in particular directions. In others, we simply watched and waited. I am Dr. Marcus Reed, xenobiologist. He introduced himself. I hope you find the refreshments to your liking. We've done our best to synthesize them correctly. The third human, a broad-shouldered individual with copper-colored skin and short black hair, remained standing by what appeared to be a primitive control console. Commander Joaquin Ortega, Earth Defense Force, he said simply with a nod. Venki's manipulators twitched nervously as she scanned the room with her personal device. This facility appears simple, yet it contains technology that surpasses some of our own capabilities. How is this possible for a species that still burns hydrocarbons for energy? Director Chen's smile never wavered. I imagine you have many questions, Ambassador Thelax. Perhaps we should address the most obvious one first. Which is? Thelax asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. Why a supposedly primitive species like humanity would have technology that contradicts our apparent development stage, knowledge of your language and biology, and the ability to detect your arrival despite having no demonstrated capability to do so? Thelax's skin shifted to a deep indigo, a sign of unease in his species. The thought had occurred to me, yes. Commander Ortega's console suddenly emitted a soft alert. He checked it and nodded to Director Chen. It seems our conversation will have to be accelerated, she said. We're detecting multiple vessels entering the system, a Scrivian raiding fleet. They typically attack worlds they believe to be vulnerable or newly spacefaring. Impossible, declared Zort, the Concordat's military liaison. Our arrival was under the highest security protocols. No one could know we were here. The Scrivians have been monitoring your fold space signatures for some time, Commander Ortega said matter-of-factly. They've developed a method to track Concordat diplomatic missions, specifically targeting the civilizations you make first contact with. They wait until your initial meetings are underway, then strike while both parties are distracted. How could you possibly know this? Thilax demanded, rising from his seat in agitation. Director Chen's expression turned serious. Perhaps it's time we showed you rather than told you. Ambassador, would you and your team like to see what humanity is really capable of? Without waiting for a response, Commander Ortega pressed a sequence on his console. The simple concrete walls around them shimmered and dissolved, revealing that they were actually standing in a vast, technologically advanced command center extending hundreds of meters in all directions. Holographic displays showed the approaching Scrivian vessels in real time. 20 warships armed with quantum disruptors and plasma cannons, weapons that could reduce Earth's cities to ash in minutes. This is the Central Earth Defense Nexus, Director Chen explained as the alien delegation stared in shock. One of several hundred similar facilities across our solar system. But your cities, your infrastructure, Venki began, are exactly what we wish the galaxy to see. Dr. Reed finished for her. We've maintained the appearance of a developing civilization for a very specific reason. Commander Ortega manipulated his console, which now revealed itself to be an advanced quantum interface rather than the primitive computer it had appeared to be. Initiating planetary defense grid, he announced. Temporal diffusion field activated. On the display, the Scrivian fleet suddenly froze in space, their ships locked in position, as though time itself had stopped for them. What have you done to them? Thilax whispered, his skin now pale with shock. We've placed them in a localized temporal field, Dr. Reed explained. They're experiencing time at approximately 1/10,000th, the normal rate. To them, less than a microsecond has passed. This technology is beyond anything in the Concordat's understanding, Venki said, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. The energy requirements alone would be substantial, yes, Commander Ortega agreed, but not beyond our capabilities. Director Chen gestured to a new set of displays that had appeared around them. Ambassador Thilax, your Concordat has existed for approximately 3,000 of your cycles, uniting some 60 intelligent species across this sector of the galaxy. You believe yourselves to be among the eldest civilizations in known space. We are, Thilax insisted, though with less certainty than before. No, Ambassador, Director Chen said gently. You are not. Humanity has been traveling the stars for over 2 million years. The command center fell silent as the implications of this statement settled over the Concordat delegation. Impossible, Zort finally declared. Our archaeologists have found no evidence of any civilization older than 5,000 cycles. First contact deception. The grand diplomatic vessel Eternal Harmony emerged from fold space at the edge of the Sol system, its crystalline hull shimmering with the residual energy of faster-than-light travel. High Ambassador Thilax of the Galactic Concordat stood on the command deck, his 4 arms folded in the traditional posture of diplomatic readiness as he gazed at the small blue planet displayed on the main viewer. Primitive, but not without a certain charm, he remarked to his science officer, Venki, who was busy analyzing sensor data. The slender, 6-eyed alien adjusted her instruments with delicate manipulators that emerged from her exoskeleton. Curious, Venki said, her voice a harmonious blend of clicks and whistles. Their technology is inconsistent. Thilax shifted his weight, the ceremonial robes of his office rustling. Explain. They appear to still rely heavily on fossil fuels, yet they've established colonies on their moon and neighboring planet. Their communication systems use crude radio waves, but we're detecting quantum entanglement signatures. It's as if their development has been uneven. Not unusual for a young species, Thilax said dismissively. Many races develop technologies at inconsistent rates depending on their cultural values and resource availability. That's not all, Venki continued, her manipulators moving rapidly over her console. They've detected us already, despite having no apparent long-range sensor technology that could identify a vessel in fold space. Thilax's skin shifted from its normal azure to a concerned purple. Are they preparing defensive measures? No, Venki replied. They're waiting for us. A single facility has been prepared at these coordinates. No military presence detected. Just a small welcoming committee. How hospitable, Thelax said, though his skin remained purple. In 300 cycles as a diplomatic envoy to newly discovered species, he had never encountered one that so calmly awaited first contact. There was always panic, religious fervor, military posturing, or some combination thereof. The eternal harmony descended through Earth's atmosphere with perfect precision, touching down on a landing pad in an isolated desert region. Through the viewports, Thelax could see 3 humans standing calmly beside a simple structure. No media presence, no military guard, just 3 representatives, Venki observed. Most unusual for first contact protocol. Perhaps they wished to avoid causing panic among their population, Thelax suggested, though doubt crept into his thoughts. The diplomatic party disembarked, a procession of 12 representatives from the various member species of the Concordat. Thelax led them, rehearsing his carefully prepared speech about welcoming humanity to the galactic community. One of the humans stepped forward, a female with dark skin and silver-streaked hair. She wore simple clothing, a white garment over blue pants, with no ceremonial adornment whatsoever. "Greetings, High Ambassador Thelax," she said, in perfect Concordat standard, without the aid of any visible translation device. "I am Director Amara Chen of Earth's Diplomatic Corps. Welcome to our solar system. I trust your journey through the Perseus Arm was pleasant. The Cygni currents can be unpredictable this time of year." Thelax froze, his rehearsed speech forgotten. The humans had not only identified him by name and title, but they knew their location in the galaxy and the navigation hazards of specific interstellar regions, knowledge that should be impossible for a species that had barely left their own solar system. "You speak our language," he managed finally. Director Chen smiled. "We find it helpful to be prepared. Shall we proceed inside? We've created an environment that should be comfortable for all members of your delegation." The structure before them appeared to be a simple concrete building with no special features, yet when they entered, Thelax was astounded to find an interior that perfectly accommodated the diverse biological needs of each Concordat species. The atmospheric composition, gravity, lighting, and temperature all shifted subtly in different sections of the room, creating ideal conditions for each visitor. "Please be seated," Director Chen said, gesturing to a conference table where chairs had been designed to perfectly match the anatomical requirements of each species, knowledge that should have been impossible without prior contact. One of the other humans, a tall male with pale skin and auburn hair, distributed refreshments that were not only safe for each species, but appeared to be delicacies from their respective homeworlds.